Started. Uh, hey everyone, welcome back to our part two of our conversation with Mr. Brian Bradley, Kingdom Comics Online. Uh, we had an awesome conversation in our first episode. So if you weren't able to catch that, it's available. So I believe this will be episode 272 that we're on now. And so episode
Yes.
271 will be the episode that you'll want to go back to catch our the first part of our conversation, to be able to hear uh, about Brian's childhood and how comics and drawing and that it really got started at an early age, and as time went on, it came to be a possibility, and then now it's a reality. So that's how we're gonna kick off this particular part two of our discussion. But before I introduce Brian, I am going to, and I apologize to our listeners, but what I'm going to be doing is pulling up a share my screen, so our viewers are uh, able to see Brian, his Kingdom Comics online website. And so let me actually go back here to the beginning, because here we go.
That is our store, our online store.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
a little different than the actual website.
Okay. That's why yeah, because I was enchanted when I saw these. Uh, but yeah, so I guess to get a big start, you can kind of see some of the characters that Brian and his comics have had throughout the years,
Yeah, you could
and
actually see all the different titles we publish. So you have up
yeah,
top, you have the Anointed Seven, Kingdom Comics Presents,
yeah,
Quiver, We Are Refahim, Bridge, Prodigal, Sir Caliburn, Votary, and then that last one, ZN, is a graphic novel we just published earlier this year. It's got, oh gosh, 148 pages.
wow,
10 different, no, 11 different artists, four different writers. And ZN was a graphic novel we published where we brought several different storylines. We brought them all together in one conclusion on the planet Mars. So that's it right there.
that makes sense. Yeah,
So
I think that's incredible.
he's kind
And
of that
yeah,
that
go ahead.
character Zonix, he's kind of like our version of Thanos, I tell people. So to give you an
Okay,
idea of who Thanos was, we have Zonix. Only similarity is that they kind of are the same shade, I guess. But otherwise, he's a much different character. But he's in a similar role in the Kingdom Comics universe where he tries to judge and destroy the entire universe. But our heroes, along with the angelic hosts of heaven, stand against him in a final confrontation. So that's what that is. And we got the entire Kingdom Comics crew, all the writers, all the artists, even a few guest writers and artists, all contributed and did this 148 page graphic novel.
that's
So that's
awesome.
what that
I
is.
saw that. I was curious on that because I had a different look and feel for the other ones. Thank you for walking us through that. Uh, while I have the screen share up, the app, am I able to get to this to the point where people can see it, or do I have to
You'd have to
say,
go, if you went to the website, would you be able to go to the website?
yep, I can.
Okay, kingdomcomicsonline.com.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Okay, so
So now this is our
here's
website.
yeah, this is the website. We kind of did the things in a little bit reverse, but wanted to show
And if
that.
you scroll down just a little bit,
Okay. Here we go.
there the apps are. We have them
Okay.
for Google and for
Yep.
the Apple Store.
Yep. And so anybody that has a smartphone, has interest in comics, you can get all of the Kingdom comic previous let's say previous episodes with previous comics, and then as each one each new one dropped each month, then that goes into that catalog, and you're able to, as Ryan is mentioning, able to have that at your fingertips. If you're at home, if you're on the go, if you're in a dorm, in a on a train, in a subway, you have that ability, and that is just incredible to have that as an option. I guess so. First, I'm gonna get back to our regular screen. How did Kingdom Comic, just that the name, come about? I know we talked about the importance of God and the Lord and faith. Is that what drove that title, that name as the overall?
Yeah, my church back in 1999, they had a business course. It was their first business course. So what I wanted to do was to learn how to actually run Kingdom Comics uh, legitimately, as a business. Right now it's a 501c3 nonprofit. So I took this course at my church, and it just I mean the comic book thoughts were already there, but the name of the company, I guess I could just say it just kind of came to me. I just thought, Kingdom Comics, and it stuck. But I just thought of it, Kingdom Comics, and here we are.
Yeah, and I found the same thing with Voices for Voices. It was just one of those. Yeah, it's hard to really describe, where it's just you're thinking, and it
Hmm.
comes to the thought, and it's like, oh, okay, like it, it's easy to think of, and
Yeah.
uh and that, so that's great to know that. What I definitely want to ask you about in our part two here is, and I'm just assuming, and I shouldn't assume, that each new comic has a similar process, but what comes first? Is it the the plot? Is it the character? Who's going to be the main character, or how does that
Well,
evolve? Somebody who's thinking like, well, where would I
mhm.
even start?
Well, right now, all of our series are ongoing series. So
Okay.
every new issue is just a continuation from the previous issue.
Uh,
Uh, what has happened over the years is some of the issues, if there's a character that kind of pops out, we will develop them and we have given them their own series. But they
okay.
just kind of, I mean, I tell people the stories kind of write themselves. You get into a flow with it, and they tell you where they want to go. The characters tell you what they want to do. And if the character is popular, they say, "Hey, I want my own series." And that's what the character
Yeah.
gets. But we have, like I said, we have different writers, so we all kind of work together and know pretty much each other's characters, and we kind of overall know the direction of where everything is going. Like for instance, the Zonics graphic novel that had several different comic books. We were all heading in that one direction. So all the different writers, we all knew what the conclusion was going to be. So we all uniquely took those characters and brought them toward this one direction, which was finally confrontation. But we kind of know what each other's doing, and all the characters, they we know them well enough now to where they kind of write themselves, like I said.
Yeah. When you it, with I say with the pandemic, and just with th things being shut down, from your perspective of kind of that, I think the leader, um as far as bringing people, from different states and different countries, that are part of the team at one time or another. uh do you have, like, I don't think, like a standing meeting, each week, each month, or is it just an email chat, or just from like a communication standpoint of how how you manage that? You don't have to give like super specifics, but just in general, like if somebody's like,
Sure,
yeah, like how do you work with somebody in this area, in that
we
area?
have actually have something as simple as a group chat on Facebook. So we all communicate through the group chat.
Okay.
The pandemic didn't affect us at all as far as producing comic books. It did affect our appearances at comic book conventions because every year we do several comic book conventions really all over the country. So that kind of hindered us from doing conventions, but it did not hinder us from publishing comic books. With our subscribers, it didn't hinder us from still mailing them their monthly comic book. But as far as the conventions, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate we couldn't get out there like we normally would.
Yeah. So what's the dynamic like at a comic convention? I've never been. I've
I
been
love
at
them.
one. You love them?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we're there as a representative of Jesus Christ, and the our neighbors and just the general atmosphere of the comic books and the stuff going on around us. And we really are there to shine the light. And it's obvious when you're there, and maybe over here you got images of the occult, and over here you got nudity or partial nudity, and there's all types of stuff going on. Yet there we are right in the midst of it, and it's enjoyable. We always are very successful as far as getting the books into the hands of the people. We sell a lot, and we always have. Um, but they've been very successful. And being a fanboy geek myself, I just like being around comic books and all that, the
Yeah,
good
and
ones.
and you get to, like I said, you get to meet the people that are
Yeah.
uh that are your subscribers that are you know you, whether they've met you at a previous
Mhm.
convention or just like, oh, I've been waiting, to have an opportunity. I've been a subscriber for quite a while, and to really just have that few seconds or a few minute conversation. And
We've started doing homeschool conferences, and yeah, the parents really love us at the homeschool conferences. And yeah, we do get kids that come up and remember us from previous years.
uh,
Um, we're about to do the Alive Music Fest in 2 weeks in Ohio, a 3-day
yeah,
event. And when we
Place
go there,
Park,
and
or yeah.
yeah, the kids come back or teenagers, they remember us, excuse me, from previous years, and they look for us. They're happy to see us there. So that's in 2 weeks. Looking forward to that.
Okay, yeah, that's very close to where I grew up. I'm still in the same state, and a little bit, like, maybe like an hour away. But yeah, that's awesome because yeah, I definitely remember the Live Fest that they have each year, and so
It's been
that's
our 5th year.
the fifth year. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
is it all like an outdoor thing, or is there an indoors? Like, I'm just thinking of like weather, or like
It's all outdoors.
it's all outdoors.
And
Okay.
and yeah, sometimes it rains, but we're usually underneath a tent. Excuse me. First few years we had individual tents, but then there's a large tent as well that they
Okay.
had last year where all the vendors are underneath one tent. So
Uh,
we've experienced a lot of rain, but we've gotten through it.
Neat.
Hopefully
No,
not
that's
this year.
yeah. Hopefully not. Yeah. No, and that's also this is a perfect plug because this episode is going to go out,
Mhm.
be available well ahead of that live festival. So, do you have like a booth number, or how can people
Not
be
yet.
sure that they can find you?
They'll see me there.
Okay.
I don't even know if they give booth numbers there to tell you the truth,
Yeah, I
but
didn't know either. It just
they do at conventions, at comic book conventions or at homeschool conferences, but I don't think, no, Alive does not give booth numbers, but if you go to the general vendor area, you'll
hmm
run into us. You'll see us. We'll be there.
Okay. Is so I'm guessing that a banner of some sort
Yeah.
that
Yep.
Kingdom
Yeah. We have
Comics
a few.
beyond.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A couple of
Okay.
1, 2, 3 banners will be out there.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, do you go to these by yourself, or do you have others? I'm just thinking from like managing
Mhm.
time,
It
and if
it
you're having a
depends.
conversation with somebody, and another person comes over and they're they, oh, I want to buy this, and
Mhm. That
then it's like,
happens.
yeah.
It may depend. Sometimes I'm by myself. Oftentimes I have other Kingdom Comics people with me. My wife goes with me a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, that does happen. There are times, in fact, I used to get frustrated in previous years because I'd be talking to someone and someone else would come up to the table And I want to tell my partner, okay, you need to go talk to that person. I'm over here. You need to talk to that person. So that that would happen. But I've calmed down over the years. Like, okay, don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
here in Alive, there'll be maybe about 4 or 5 of us
Okay.
who will be manning the booth. So I won't have that problem. Um,
Good. Good.
but yeah,
Yeah. From my time in corporate America, we had different conventions over the years, and that was one of the big things to consider is you if somebody's in a conversation or if they're talking to a customer and somebody comes, because what we were trying to do is sell sell the product off of the gondolas, and so call it the cash and carry. So at the end of the show, we didn't want to have to ship all the products back. We wanted to have sales, and so there were some pretty good discounts. So we would get people that would purchase products just because it was at such a discount, but then they were
mhm,
responsible for taking that, and that was one of the big things that and I didn't have any. I mean, I have my MBA and gone through project management, but uh, to actually see that all these things in motion of somebody wants to have a conversation, and really I had to
mhm.
just basically put like a color coded sheet together with everybody's name and who's going to be where when. If
Yeah,
somebody's at lunch and their Petco comes, their big customer, like we need to be able to get in touch with that rep so they get back to the where they need to
yeah,
be, and so we're not missing that opportunity, because some things are scheduled and some things are just they're walking by, and so that's why just thinking about well, having a booth and having comics and just
yeah.
the
I've been
various.
called back. I've left the booth and I'll get a call on my phone. I'll say, come back here. Now, so and so wants to ask you about this. So I'll have to come back sometimes and
Yeah,
attend to the customer. No big deal.
yeah, yeah, like you said, now you're used to it. You kind of know
Hmm.
what to expect, and you're like I am, and as far as like, yeah, getting frustrated, and at the start for you, and like you're trying to, I'll say please everybody, but you're trying to make sure everybody gets taken
Right.
care of in the however they want to interact. If they want to make a purchase, if they want to download the app and they're like, hey, I have the Apple store open, where how do I find it? And those obviously are helpful because they bring income into
Right.
the organization, and that's helpful. Um, I don't want to say like what snags have you hit over the years, but just can you go, or just maybe like in general, of things happen and you've persisted, you've continued on, you'd follow that
Mhm.
mission that's in your heart, that it's the Lord's work, uh, and just how you just persevered. Now it's probably much easier than when it kind of got
Yeah.
started. But everybody's going to
We
run into roadblocks at some point.
yeah, we just hope to be able to do more conventions. We're also, as I said earlier, we're a 501(c)(3), so we also take donations.
Okay.
And those kind of, as a saying goes, send us out. We get sent out. So, and that's a lot of that has to do with, like I said, the donations. Um, so coming up, we have a live. We've actually done the San Diego convention, the big one. We've done that a couple of times. We're hoping to be able to do New York this year,
Okay.
and we will have a couple of things lined up, and we'll
Yeah.
just see how it goes. But we're moving forward.
Yeah. I would say it's an exciting time, and uh, yeah, to share your successes and the new projects that have come along from the very beginning, and to see now you have an app, and it's just like it's not that you weren't in the 21st century, but it's like you're able to meet the customer wherever they are
Right.
if they choose to do so. And so I think that's huge for anybody, any organization is because yeah, there's there's conventions, there's different times like that, but you want to be able to reach the masses, and
Right.
the masses may, for one reason or not, you might not know about the convention, they might not have the funds, whatever that may be, and they're like, well, wow, if I knew they had an app, or that I know
Yeah.
that they have an app, then I don't have to worry about that because everything new is getting uploaded and I'm not going to miss anything. If
Yeah.
I want to start all the way back in the beginning and then work my
Now you
way up,
can.
that now you
Now you
can.
can.
Yeah. Uh, so we're at the end of our second episode. This one went, I think, even faster than the
Yeah.
than
It
the
did.
first one. Yeah, I mean, if you can you give more plugs, and maybe talk about Alive, the dates, and that you and your team will be there, and then talk about the app a little bit, and just
Sure.
yeah.
There's a lot of information on our website. Uh, so I would definitely suggest you guys check out the website. And I mean, it's July 3rd. It's still early in the summer. We're going to do a
Hmm.
live in 2 weeks, and hopefully maybe we can do a couple more conventions going into the fall. Um, we're very excited about the app. We just released it. We released the Google one, I think late May, and the Apple one early June. So we're still very early in the release of those. Uh, I hope you guys check them out. Some really, really, really good stuff on it, probably unprecedented in any
Yeah.
other thing out there. You get 130 plus comic books that you can read at your leisure on your phone or your iPad or your Kindle or whatever. So, and then lastly, keep us in, well, firstly, keep us in prayer
Hmm.
because, we are out there in the mission field. As I tell people, what we do when we go to conventions in these places, that's the mission field what the Lord has given us. So keep us in prayer and, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for two parts, two shows. I've learned a ton. I hope everybody checks out the new app. If they're in the Northeast Ohio area, where the Live Festival is going to be held in a couple of weeks, that you go check that out. Look
Mhm.
for Kingdom Comics, and again, that app is everything you need right there. Is can be in the palm of your hand, and then again, it's unprecedented, and especially with how many how many versions or how many comics that you have, that
Yeah,
over 130, and each month they get added, that it's not an additional cost. It's like, okay, here's what the monthly cost is, and then you kind of just refresh, and then, oh, the new
yeah,
one came out today for this month, or
exactly.
that. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kingdom Comics. Thank you for your mission work. And I'm I'm finding more and more with Voices for Voices, and the work that we're doing, and things we want to do, that we can't do this alone. We can't do
That's
this
right.
all by ourselves. And so it's definitely have to have the faith, have to have that guidance and leadership from above,
Yeah,
and so that's an extra reason why we wanted to have you on, because of that backing, and being transparent about that, because uh, sometimes it's different topics are touch and go, and so to be able to talk
yeah.
about that it's very important, and we have nothing but respect for you and
Thank you.
everything you do. Uh, we again we we uh, we invite our listeners, our viewers, check out kingdomcomicsonline.com. uh, then you can get to the store. You can see everything that's going on with Kingdom Comics, and then you can download and find the way to get the Google Play or the Android store, for the app, or if you like myself have an Apple device, able to go to the Apple store and download the Kingdom Comics app and never miss a beat. Get issue one all the way up to let's say,
44.
yeah, which is just incredible. So Brian, thank you so much for joining us. We've really enjoyed our time together, and uh, maybe we'll have a chance to meet here later in
Sure.
the summer if everything goes well with what we're expecting. And
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this. I was
absolutely
even, yeah, made me think back to a few things and was going to the journey of my mind to the past to remember some things. So I enjoyed it.
great. And thanks to our viewers or listeners. Check this episode if you haven't. If you've checked out episode 271, which is part one of our conversation, we want you to check out part two, which will be 272. And that means we have 272 episodes, and so just as Kingdom Comics has a lot of comics that are available on the app and for purchase, that we have a lot of other guests, other topics. We tackle hard topics, and we just share that information, and let you the people decide about it. But we have been, we are, and we're going to continue to be voices for voices. And we just are thankful that you've been with us to keep us around for as long as we have. And so we greatly appreciate it. And we will see you on our next episode. Until next time, we ask that if you're able to be a voice for yourself in whatever that means and in whatever way that is, or if there's somebody that is not able to share their voice, that if you're able to talk about a particular topic or situation, you can always reach out to us, and we would love to have you on the show and to uh, march towards that huge goal that I had from kind of day one, that we want to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. It's a crazy goal, but we have a mighty God, and there's nothing that He can't do.
Right.
And
Right.
so we're gonna, through bringing light to Kingdom Comics and others that are on this journey together. We can't do it alone, and again, I can't just say enough thank you that we're not only reaching people here in the United States and Northeast Ohio, we're reaching over 70 countries, 700 cities. Never would have thought that from day one. I wanted, right, the 3 billion, that's not all here in the United States. But to see the analytics like that is just really mind blowing, to be able to know that there's people that outside of the United States that are tuning in or have tuned in from time to time. So we're very grateful. And if you're in another country, you still can check out Kingdom Comics online. You can still download the app. You still can get all that same content that users here in the United States. All you need is your iPhone or your Droid, and
Right.
uh, you can have that. So we invite you to help. We're more alike than we are different, and we will see you on our next episode. So until next time, I'm Justin Allen Hayes, founder of Voice for Voices, and thank you for joining us. And we'll talk to you on the next show. Bye bye for now.